So just a couple of days, Manchester United completed the historical win at Anfield against Liverpool in a 2-1 win over the past decade. And you could agree with me that Manchester United can be able to complete such a historical win if we are good defensively for most part of the game. And you could watch that Manchester United were very good defensively, even though Liverpool had an expected XG of 3.18. It is definitely expected because Manchester United were winning for most of the game and Liverpool were trying to chase Manchester United for most of the game. They were creating a lot of opportunities, they were creating a lot of issues, a lot of problems for Manchester United. And then I stumbled upon a particular post on X that actually gave me an insight of what Ruben Amorim did in that game and how he created a trap that Liverpool fell into. Let's dive into this video together. So guys, in this video we'll be talking about what Liverpool was looking to do in the game and how they were playing in different phases of the play and how Manchester United were looking to stop them in this play. And you guys should remember that Manchester United were winning for longer periods of the game, so we spent larger period of the game being compact and trying to make Liverpool not to play into us as much as possible. So let's look at what Manchester United were looking to do. So Manchester United were setting up in a 5-4-1 shape. We were very compact. Our defensive system was very solid. Just like United did in the Sunderland game, we are not looking to press, we are not looking to force high turnovers, and the little moments where Manchester United were looking to press high to force turnovers, we were actually battered and we were exposed by Liverpool. So what Manchester United was looking to do was to be very narrow, bring Casemiro and Bruno as close as possible to force central progression. And you could see from the stats that Liverpool tried to play through the middle 30% of the time when they had the ball. So Liverpool were looking to play through the middle, they were looking to progress through the middle, but Ruben Amorim was able to counter that by keeping Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro relatively close to each other so they could stop those central progression. You know that Liverpool no longer have those players that has this ability to to split, to play those line breaking passes, to split oppositions apart. So what Liverpool was looking to do was to bring a lot of players behind the midfield of Manchester United. So they were looking to put a lot of players behind the midfield of Manchester United. They were looking to throw a lot of players as much as possible. And so what they were looking to do was that since they couldn't play through the middle, they were looking to play into those left spaces and the right half spaces. So they threw in players like McAllister, like Szoboszlai, like Bradley, Salah, Isak into those half spaces so they could be able to receive the ball. They could be able to receive the ball with the back to goal. So what Manchester United were looking to do was to put the defenders on one man. So each Manchester United defenders had one man to mark. They were looking to hold off one man, and because they were relatively good in Delete and Shaw are relatively good in being aggressive, in jumping through tackles. So what Manchester United were looking to do was that they were in control of the ball despite not having the ball. So they were actually making Liverpool to play into certain zones so they can be able to be aggressive and win the ball as much as possible. So many times this season we have seen the Manchester United defenders exposed, and we have seen Manchester United defenders play in zones and areas where they are not supposed to be playing and where they are not comfortable in. So what was Manchester United looking to do in this game? Why were they letting Liverpool have a lot of chances in those left spaces and that right half spaces? So Manchester United were doing that intentionally. It was an intentional plan for Ruben Amorim. So what Manchester United was looking to do, you could see that from the clip, each of the Manchester United defenders had one man to mark. So what they were doing was that let the Liverpool players receive the ball in those channels, and then we are going to be very aggressive. We are going to be incredibly very aggressive and very strong on them so that we can be able to win the ball as much as possible. So Manchester United, we are looking to control the way Liverpool was going to play. In as much as Manchester United stopped central progression, it was for a purpose. They stopped the central progression so that Liverpool are going to be very static and they are going to be very predictable. Either they play into the right zones or they play into the left zones. So the defenders already knew where the ball was going to go. They knew where the balls were going to end up on. So what they needed to do was just to be aggressive and win the ball back. So Manchester United was able to manipulate the way Liverpool played so that they can be able to win the ball as much as possible. So this was very easy for the United defense because each player had a zone to cover. Each defender had a player to mark, a half channel or a particular width to mark. So it was very easy for our defenders to be able to play in this kind of situation, other than games where Manchester United our defenders was found in situations where we are not supposed to be. And this is something that I know that our system is a bit flawed. I know it's not perfect, but it was a very good game plan from Ruben Amorim, because he was very very direct with what he wanted the central back to do in Manchester United. And even though in games this season we have seen our central backs struggle with attackers that are very fluid, that don't stay in one position, that seems to roam around the front three. Our defenders have struggled against front threes like that, but in this particular game there was a particular way we needed to stop Liverpool, and the team actually did it very well. So this explains why Ruben Amorim did not start players like Lisandro in that game. You know that Dalot is very aggressive. So what Dalot was looking to do was to be very aggressive, crunch into tackles, and then the ball is going to fall up for Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes in the pivot. And we all know how Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro are good in playing those long passes, in spamming those long passes into the attacks whenever Manchester United had a counter attack. So this really made our counter attacking ability to be very later in the Liverpool game, because all we have to do is to be aggressive to the attackers and the midfielders of Liverpool, win the ball, force high turnovers, and then Manchester United can be able to counter as quickly as possible, because we had players like Mason Mount, Matheus Cunha, Brian Mbeumo at the top of the pitch. So what we are looking to do was to win that ball in those central zones and try to progress through the counter attacking system. So let's actually look at the flaws of this system that Ruben Amorim used in the Liverpool game. We all know that if we are playing a team that had a very fluid attack, the attackers are going to be occupying different positions in the pitch, and this is going to leave Matthias de Ligt, Maguire and Luke Shaw to be occupying several uncomfortable positions. And this will be this was one of the issues that Manchester United were facing earlier of the season, because we had our players occupying positions that was not suitable for them. So it was kind of an issue for Manchester United. Just imagine a situation whereby Isak was not occupying that right half spaces and he was dropping a bit down. Definitely Luke Shaw is going to follow him up to that position, and when Luke Shaw follows him to that position, it's going to create a lot of spaces for Bradley, like some spaces for Szoboszlai to run into. So this is definitely it would have been really, really bad for Manchester United if Arne Slot was able to just really tweak things around, but he was very static in his play and it really worked out for Manchester United. But I know that this is one of the concerning issues we have with the Amorim system that he needs to really correct, because we are definitely not going to be playing teams that have their attackers very static. We definitely in the Premier League we have a lot of teams that play with a lot of fluidity in their front three. So when we face this kind of teams, they are going to be suffering from these flaws that we have in this our defensive system. But this is something that we tried against the Liverpool match and it actually works. Manchester United actually won, and this is something that I want Manchester United to really work on, to try to work on the defensive system, to try not to be predictable, to try not to make teams to just play into a particular zone. Definitely your system and your game plan in every game must not always work. So I want you guys to give me your thoughts on the comment section on what you feel Ruben Amorim should change in our game against Brighton. I want you guys to like, to share, to subscribe to Tactical Trafford, as we're making more analysis on the games of Manchester United. So see you guys in my next video. Ciao.